taking her money and that's all as need concern you. You won't be called on to do anything else." "Oh." Morgan looked at the man who had fathered him, feeling a potent mixture of dislike and contempt. "Like what, father?" Like, you know bloody well like what." Ezra's scarlet face took on a deeper purplish shade. Morgan knew very well what was meant. He just wanted to be awkward, the same as always, but he could be as awkward as he liked. He would still marry the Kerral wench. Everything depended on the money that would bring. "Do I?" Morgan's mouth relaxed into a taunting smile. "How can you be sure, father, when you haven't told me? You have always said that if I am to get anything right, you must tell me how and when. So you had better tell me now. What is it I will not be called upon to do?" "Go to hell, blast you!" "I am very glad to do that, father. I have a real fancy for going to hell." "Listen to me." Ezra's head jutted forward on his thick neck, and his piggy eyes gleamed. "You may think yourself very clever with your smart answers, but they'll all end up the same. You'll say yes." "And if I do?" "There's no ifs," Ezra cut in sharply. "You refuse and we be done for. The business be up to its eyes in debt, and even this house be mortgaged for more than it's worth. So you see, my lad, you give me any ifs and buts, and we might well finish up with nothing." "That's hardly likely, father." Morgan studied a perfectly manicured fingernail. "After all, as you say, who else will take on the cripple? But what if the cripple should refuse? What if she refuses to exchange her fortune for me?" "The girl will have no say in the matter." Ezra turned to a side table, selecting a cigar from a box, biting off the end and spitting the stub into the fire. "Her will do as her father tells her." "Like all good little boys and girls should." Morgan laughed dryly. "They should not object to being sold off and mated like cattle to satisfy their parents." "I never heard you object to spending my money." Ezra stooped, pushing a wax taper into the fire. "And I doubt you'll object to spending that which the wench will bring with her." "I shall have no objections whatsoever to spending her money." Morgan watched the older man light his cigar, then replaced the taper in a delft pot on the mantel. "But what is in this marriage for you? What do you hope to get out of it?" Blowing a cloud of smoke into the air, Ezra watched his son through the lavender haze. He was going to take some getting to the altar, but get him there Ezra would, or break his bloody stuck-up neck in trying. "What do you think I hope to get?" "I think you hope to get your so-called business back on an even keel," Morgan answered evenly, his eyes watching every nuance of expression flicker across his father's face. "But you will not do that through me. I will not be saddled with a cripple to save a business that hit the rocks years ago." "Then what will you do if you won't marry the Kerral girl? There'll be no more money left. It's just a matter of time before they foreclose on this house, and then you'll be out on the street. And will your fancy London friends take you in then? Will any of 'em find you a home or finance your trips abroad every fart's end? Oh, yes, they'll do all of that all right. Like bloody hell they will." Morgan continued examining his fingernails, as his father's temper suffused his face with a deeper shade of carmine. With luck, he would have a heart attack here and now, and then Kerral could keep both his money and his gimpy offspring. "I was unaware Kerral had a daughter," said Morgan quietly. "That don't surprise me." Ezra blew out another stream of smoke. "You ain't been aware of anything going on in Darlaston since you've been 8 years old." "You can't blame me for that, father." Morgan smiled, showing teeth scrupulously cleaned with bicarbonate of soda. "You had me sent away to school when I was 8 years old." "A good job I did and all," his father shot back. "Get you away from your mother's namby-pambying. Christ, a few more years of that and her'd have you acting like a big soft wench. Not that school made much of a job of turning you into a man. All you think on is fancy clothes and fancy women."